Back in 2019, my friend Hao hosted a little bike vacation with his shop Faith Gear to Hualien, which is a region of Taiwan where there's beaches right next to mountains. And there were about 20 riders or so, and we were riding up into the hills to go to a reservoir. At the very front of the pack was Hao on his admittedly pretty lightweight bike, weighs maybe like 16 or 17 pounds. Me on my Wabi Special, which weighs maybe 18 or 19 pounds. And then a guy on a pretty basic, maybe $500 or $600 aluminum fixed gear that weighs maybe 19 or 20 pounds. And while it was a non-competitive ride, we were unintentionally dropping people uphill with bikes that weighed 25% less that cost 5 times as much. At the end of the day, a bike that weighs 25% less than a basic 20-pound fixed gear is only a 5-pound difference. Does bike weight really matter that much for how much people like to obsess over it? Or has the bike industry just convinced everybody to be gram wise but pound foolish? Bike weight is so unimportant that I don't even know how much my bike weighs. I have a rough idea, but pound, an ounce, or grams, or what, I don't know. Wabi Special, I'm guessing it weighs like 22-ish pounds. 23 pounds and 2 ounces, and that is with the front rack and the basket and wide riser bars, tubeless tires where I never even bothered to clean out the old sealant, a heavy Brooks saddle that lots of people say they would ride if it didn't weigh so much. Big bottle cages that can fit a 1-liter Nalgene. Like, I'm not trying to shave grams at all on this bike. For what it's worth, I think 23 pounds, which is 10.5-ish kilos. It's pretty fine weight. Oh, I gotta take off the light to make sure it's even. And the Wabi Thunder with full fenders, front rack, just steel bull moose handlebars, okay? Like, again, a giant puncture resistant heavy tires, another Brooks saddle, 26 pounds and 6 ounces, which is 12 kilos, call it 12. By the way, this video is sponsored by Wabi Cycles. If you want to check out a Wabi Special like I have, or Wabi Thunder, go check them out, linked in the description, because you'll find most of the parts that I have on my bikes from wabicycles.com. In a vacuum, it's easy to think that, like, oh, your bikes weigh more than a basic fixed gear, but they're much more expensive than a basic fixed gear. Why are you riding a bike that's slow or whatever? But it's like, I have so much more stuff on my bike, and also bike weight isn't even that big of a portion of everything that's on the bike. Like, for example, I normally take a fanny pack with me. I throw it in my front rack. This has my lights and my tool roll so that I could fix anything when out on the road. How much does this weigh? 3 pounds and 4 ounces for the fanny pack, which is 1.5 kilos. I also normally take at least 1 liter of water with me. 2 pounds, 10 ounces. 1.2 kilos. Sometimes I'll take 2 of those. And if I'm going somewhere and locking up, I'm taking 2 bike locks. 5 pounds. 2.5 kilos. So total, that is 11 pounds and 4 ounces of the stuff that I just carry with me on my bike. It's almost half of my bike's weight in just tools and water and locks. And something I feel that gets left out of the conversation a lot of times when talking about bike weight is that bike weight can be useful. Not everything has to be about shaving grams and making the bike as light as possible, despite what the bike industry's marketing dollars tell us to believe. So, like, on both of my bikes, I have a front rack, and I like to just throw my stuff into my front rack because it's a lot more comfortable to ride with stuff on the bike rather than stuff on my back. I like to ride with a heavy, with many air quotes, Brooks saddle because it's the most comfortable saddle I've ever tried, and I can ride 100 miles and not have the slightest hint of ass pain. I like to ride with these big water bottle cages because I need a lot of water. I am more important than the bike. This is for me, okay? This whole vehicle is to serve me and to make me comfortable because I am the thing that is making this go. This has been a game changer for me. Full fenders. They weigh maybe a pound or so with all the hardware and stuff. like, these make it so much more comfortable and so much more enjoyable to just be dry and to ride in the rain. Now I can ride my bike any day I want. And I also have a huge front rack on my Wabi Thunder because I like to carry a lot of stuff with it. I like to get groceries with it. I even took my drum kit out on this rack. I shouldn't have because I was very over the weight limit, which I only discovered after the fact, but that's besides the point. This rack weighs maybe 2.5 pounds, and it can carry up to 25, at least it's rated up to 25 pounds of gear. Like, that is just useful. This weight that I'm adding to my bike makes it so that I can do more things on my bikes. Whatever vehicle it is, whether it's a car or an airplane or a helicopter or a boat or a motorcycle or a bicycle, the engine is the heaviest part of the vehicle. And on a bike, the heaviest part is you and me, because we're the things that's making it go. So why are we so focused as cyclists on how much the thing weighs when we should be focusing on how much we weigh? After the holidays, I was the fattest I've ever been at 185 pounds. At standing at 6 feet tall, which is just horribly average, and I don't like to be average. And that was just way too close to 200 pounds for me, so I went on a new diet that I've been on for about a month and a half now, and I've lost 10 pounds on the diet. Like, how the heck am I going to lose 10 pounds off of this bike while still keeping all of the same functionality? It's just not going to happen. The entire weight of the whole vehicle, including me, the engine and the tools and the fuel necessary for me to ride this thing, that is 209.4 pounds. I weigh 175 pounds. That is 83% of the weight of the entire vehicle is just me. The bicycle itself, that is 11% of the weight of the vehicle. Seriously, why are we concerned about shaving 100 or 200 or whatever amount of grams off of this thing when we could be shedding like 5,000 grams off of this thing? Just to put it more into perspective, a full bladder weighs about 1 pound. Just go pee, you'll lose a pound. And this is gonna sound gross, but again, just to put it in perspective, at any point during the day, there's about a pound or a pound and a half of poop in the intestines. If I lose a pound off of my bike, that's a lot of weight and a lot of money that I have to spend. But if I lose a pound off of myself, that's basically nothing. It costs nothing, it takes very little effort, and also it's just better for my health. Trying to sound kind of like conspiracy theory-y, but this is just how business works. I really think that's the reason why there's so many marketing dollars spent on the weight of bikes, because it's something we can understand, and it's something that we can compare directly between like my bike and your bike. Like, it's easy to compare. Losing a pound costs nothing on your body, but it costs a lot of money on the bike, and that's exactly why we've been conditioned to think that bike weight is so important. If I were to lose a pound on this bike, I would probably have to get like a different saddle, maybe a carbon seat post, carbon handlebars, and maybe even build up a whole new wheel set, because this has 32 spoke. I could cut it down to like 24 or 20 spokes. Like, this is easily already at like $1,500 just to lose a few grams off of my bike. But if I want to lose the same amount of weight off of my body, I just go to the bathroom, or I just change my diet a little bit and stick to it. There's no purchases made, even though it's much more effective, and that's why bike weight has been made such a big deal. I'm on my way to the store to buy a kettlebell, 35-pound one, because I want to start adding some kettlebell workouts to my workout routine to build some muscle, burn some fat, because my weight loss is kind of plateaued with just the diet. A lot of times I think we forget the fact that bikes are incredibly efficient machines. This whole thing is only 26 pounds. I can get groceries with it. I could take it out in the rain. I could ride it just for fun for as long as I want, 100 miles if I want to. And this thing, this stupid thing, is 35 pounds. This little thing right here weighs 30% more than my bike. And all it does is just be heavy. My bike that weighs less can carry this thing. Oh, that's a big boy. All right. How does this weigh more than the entire bike? This is my first time doing kettlebell swings, so please don't make fun of me.
And what we're doing here, nice smooth movement, snapping the hips back, exploding out of the glutes.
Write that down, bend and snap. Jeez, I'm sweating already. That's a good workout. I only did like a 45-second workout, one set of 20, and my butt muscles are like throbbing, like geez. And my goal is to go from my fattest from at the end of the year was 185 pounds, and I want to go back down to my high school weight, which is about 165 pounds. At my lowest, I was like 155, but I have more muscle now. We'll see if I get there. But 165 is a good benchmark to see if I can get down to my high school weight at the ripe age of 29. I'll be turning 29 this year, and that is, it's getting a little spooky. Total, I want to lose 20 pounds of predominantly fat off of my body. I can't physically lose 20 pounds off of my bikes. Like, if I were to lose 20 pounds off of my bikes, I would just have wheels. That's it. Like, I can't ride the thing anymore. My bike would weigh 3 pounds or 6 pounds. Like, what? That's not a thing you can do. I know this might be controversial because people really like to obsess over the weights of our bikes. It's fun conversation. People like to spend their money however they want. And I'm not telling you how to spend your money. Spend it however you want. But if you're not a racer, the weight of your bike really doesn't matter. And Cycling About did a really great video on this. You can check it out over here, where he did a bunch of tests and found out that adding a kilogram or two only made him about 1 minute slower. Over 100 kilometers. So for us non-racers, bike weight really doesn't matter if trying to be as fast as possible is our goal. If you are a racer, definitely it matters because you're in peak physical condition competing against other people that are in peak physical condition, and races are oftentimes measured down to millimeters and milliseconds. It's that important, and a gram here or there or 100 grams here or there could really mean the difference between winning and losing. But for us lay people, it doesn't really matter. But it does matter for a couple of things, and mainly for fun. Because I found that when I ride like a really well-designed, lightweight, I mean, my bikes are still 23 and 26 pounds, that they're just more fun to ride. My Wabi Special, 23 pounds, and I rode a Walmart fixie, which was, I forgot how much it was. It was something like 30 something pounds, considerably more. And that was one of the most miserable bike riding experiences I've ever done, trying to ride a Walmart fixie 100 miles. I only made it to 100 kilometers, but you know, I'll take that achievement. And yes, it had to do with the fit, and yes, it had to do with the drivetrain feeling weird, and yes, it had to do with the weight as well. And every pedal stroke on that thing felt really sluggish, whereas every pedal stroke on my bikes, they feel really fun and inspiring to ride. And that's what I always come back to when it comes to my bikes, is that, are they fun to ride? Because if I ride them more, then I'll naturally get faster because they're fun to ride. They inspire me to ride, and I just get faster as a side effect. Not that I'm even really trying to be all that fast anyway. I'm just trying to do things on my bike and have fun. It can also be important, like for us, we live in a second-story apartment and we have to go downstairs. It matters a little bit, but honestly, the bigger thing that makes it a headache to get my bikes in and out the door isn't the weight, but it's just how wide the handlebars are, because it's like a narrow hallway to get through. But I'm also aware of the weight of my bikes when I'm flying with them, because if you go even just like a little tiny smidge overweight, it could add up to like hundreds of dollars. And even though there's only like a 3.5 pound difference between my bikes, that can mean a lot at an airport, okay? So last November, we went to Taiwan, and I took a bike with me, and I took my lighter Wabi Special. And that was mainly because, one, it looks cooler, and two, it's lighter, so I don't have to worry about trying to figure out what stuff goes in which luggage, and I can just throw the stuff into my bike bag and be merry. But that 3 pound difference, even though the Wabi Thunder would have definitely been better to take to rainy Taiwan because it has full fenders, and I would have had a much better time riding the Wabi Thunder in Taiwan, I just didn't take it because it was just easier to pack this one up. That's what that 3 pound difference made. And then also, weight matters for durability. Whenever something is lighter, it is inherently less durable. And I am not easy on my bikes. I fly with them, I throw them in cars with other bikes on top of them, I lock them up, I go grocery shopping. I crash sometimes, and I still want to ride the same bike because I don't want to go out and buy another $1,000 frame set just because I crashed my bike. Seriously, in pursuit of weight savings, bikes have become disposable. It's kind of, depressing for one. Look, I don't want kids. And I know that may come as a shock to a lot of you because I'm married, but yeah, we don't want kids. And I also don't want my bikes to be big babies. I want them to be able to hang with me. Even though, generally speaking, steel is heavier than any other bike material on the market, steel is real. It can hang.